I think that's what you're doing. Good morning, everybody. So what a day, right? So it's actually looking fairly decent off the open. We have jobless claims that just came out, which is, they're not really that bad. We're under 300,000. So I'm not really sure how the market's going to do here at digesting this. It's actually great news for the economy, considering the numbers that have come out. But what's really interesting is the PPI number and how that came out. That's pretty powerful stuff. That came in much lower than anticipated. So, and that's the cost it costs to produce goods. So the fact that that's dropping means that the CPI could actually be dropping next time. So because they pass on the cost of goods right to the consumer, right? So the PPI is the producer, what it costs to produce a good, and then the CPI is the opposite of that. So overall, that could be absolutely huge. So I actually would look at that and look at the PPI today, 0.2% versus 0.5%, and the estimate for the prior is 0.6%. So that's pretty substantial. And jobless claims under 300,000 is pretty substantial as well. And also existing claims came down pretty much a lot. So keep that in mind. The PPI number and the PPI may offset the jobless claim number for the indexes today. That's a pretty substantial number reduction. So that's very interesting, to say the least. So let's see how that plays out. There's a lot for me to go over as far as indexes and stocks. So I'm just going to point out a couple quick things and then we're going to go. So look, okay, just watch where you're opening today. I'm happy too that we're up. Right? Lower high, lower low, higher low, right? So we've made a little cup turning. We've got some work to do, but we're over the 21 day. Now we have to get over this wedge line. So just watch this wedge line today. I was going to point out these levels. You were opening right on the 21 day. Just watch that. IWM, you were opening right at the top of this and right near this wedge line. So you can get to 226 maybe, but watch this level. It looks like we're trying to get over it, but we're stalling at all these levels. So just FYI, keep that in mind, and let's go forward and start taking questions. So good morning, Daniel, Jacob. What's going on? Semis are up. Yep, semis are doing okay. I'm not going to be a big buyer of them here off the open, that's for sure. But yeah, broke the wedge, broke that little wedge. Went over the 50-day, which is what you wanted to, and you closed over the 50-day, which is really good, right? So by closing over that allowed us to know that, hey, we might have another day of this, and we might go higher. I mean, that's really what you're looking for. I like the names. I'm just not sure that I'm really willing to jump in here. This gets over the 50-day and closes over the 50-day. I will be looking at that. Like NVIDIA, especially if it gets over this 213 and a quarter. Yeah, that gets over 213 and a quarter. I would definitely be looking at that because I think you can get through that upper channel line pretty quickly. And I think that this one could really go. A lot of people want to buy the name. If you get rid of all these indicators, right. You have a trend line up here. Let's take this one out. Let's do this going across. See the levels that you're looking at? 214. I'd like to get above this, and then you should probably clear that and then start working your way up. But this absolutely can move. And we'll have to take a look at that and kind of figure out what's going on there. But absolutely that can move. I like that space a lot as far as short-term trades. But I'm not looking at them, buying them long-term right now. I'd be a little cautious. Task had a decent move yesterday, actually. So Task's move yesterday was fairly decent. And it looks like you're going to have follow-through today. Now, if you have follow-through today, you probably want to take a look at it, right? So this was your range. And now you look like you're going to open up over this. 67.11. Let me just pull that over so you can see it a little bit better. That was a range before, and that gave us a hard time. It's actually down here, but we can use this as well. Just use 67.5 just to make it simple. But yeah, I would watch this. But if you can break over the high of this long red bar, which was 66.81, which looks like you're not doing yet, you could probably go. You probably can go here. So just keep that in mind. I do like the action. I do like what I'm saying there. AMD looks great as well, but you just have to be careful there. URAEIS. URA. So, yeah, I mean, look, you did it. You went to the top again, and it looks like you might be having an issue here, right? So you need to close above that 29.30, and you're just not doing it. You're 4 times now that you have not done that. So that could be linked to the underlying what? That could be linked to the underlying prices, okay? Those underlying prices are, the price of uranium. So that could definitely be the case. I would look at that and be interested in it, obviously. But let's see how this plays out, and we'll go from there. I wouldn't be a buyer here, that's for sure. I would definitely not be a buyer here. I'd be sitting and watching and waiting. EIS, shares of Israel. I have no idea what's going on over there as far as the fundamentals of Israel. I mean, we all know it's a biotech mecca. Here's your range, and there's your channel. And you might want to remember this. Indexes respect their channel more than stocks do. And there's a reason for that. But you're probably heading to 75, 76. I don't see any reason why not. So, and as we're talking, I just want to point some things out today because today's going to be filled with information. This is the only index so far that has gotten through its resistance this morning. Okay, so see this little break here, and names that are in this space that you just might want to put on your list. Names like this, Caesars, Red Rock. You might want to start looking at names like this. Looks like we had that's probably an anomaly, right? Yeah. So I would look at names like this, and I would start focusing on small caps. If small caps is going to be up $1.20, and the SPY and the Qs are going to be down, that's something that you're going to want to take a look at. And I apologize. Let me throw this recently viewed up because I know that way people can follow along. But right now IWM small caps is outperforming, which is actually decent. I can go pretty far. UPST can go pretty far. The issue is that, and it happened yesterday. The issue for me is that, that little move down, I had a position yesterday and then they had a little move down. I made a little money, but it just shook me out. And, it's one of the things I was saying in the free newsletter yesterday. And if you don't get it, there's a copy of it. It will be in this description. Just click the link. It comes out once a week. It's free. But the reason what I was bringing up was yesterday was the first time in weeks where I was getting stopped out and then they were going higher. It has not been happening. And I don't mind it because I can always put trades back on, right? Getting stopped out is not the end of the world. It's actually a good thing. So it gives you data points. Anyway, but where can this go? Sure. Let's go through it this way. Last time I was here, this was where we bought it last time, right? Broke out, ran, pulled all the way back down to here, forms a cup. Now you're breaking out again. I'll buy the handle. I don't know that I'm buying this breakout. I'm sure a lot of people bought yesterday at the close because, there you are. And then here you are this morning, right? The trade makes sense, but it's not something that I'm going to run into. Can it go a lot higher? It can go a lot higher. Yeah. So let me show you how. And let me just remove all these horizontal lines. And let's get this out of your way. So we all see this break, right? I don't really need to put that in there. But here's your channel. And when you start learning how to draw these channels, right? Yeah, go up 75 points like it's nothing. So, and also if you want to just another way to do this to figure it out when you say how high can it go, throw in fib levels. Peak the most recent peak, which is here. Come on. There we go. And then you just ping the closest swing low. Okay. So I'm just going to pick this base. I'm not going to go all the way down here. And you can see, look how it respects that, right? See how it respects it right in here, those ranges. You're breaking out. So, I mean, 400, there's a 4 handle here that's very possible. There's 50 points here. This can continue. And I understand why people are going to look at it. So if this market keeps moving, that's going to go higher. Oh, that's a great question. This is a great question. When can we tell if we're recovering, not a bear flag? I love questions like this. It means you're thinking. So to me, you already have a sign of that, right? Now, this morning you're running up. I will not be a buyer of this run up. I just won't, because I know that we're going to have backfill. It's just a matter of time. Maybe I'll do trades, but what you're looking for here, okay, is here's a W, right? You should be able to see that W. Here's your flagpole, we're going to call it, and then here's the flag, okay? The first sign that you're going to break a bear flag is getting above the recent high of the flagpole, okay? Now, technically, this whole thing's a flagpole, and you can get back to 850. But that said, I would look for pullbacks. Now, there's your level. Now, the next level that you need to clear and get to is right there. Okay. When you get through that, there's a really good chance that that's negated. And now you can add some bells and whistles and look at your indexes. And by the time that this probably breaks here, you're probably up here, right? So just keep that in mind. But down here, absolutely. What a great trade. And then up to here. I played around with this and made some money a couple times, pulling 10, 15, 20 points out of it. But, I never stayed in it. And I have no intention of it because of how that chart looks. Now, we could rally up to here and then roll back down. So I'm not saying it's over, but obviously that's a beautiful move. If you're in it, congratulations. So that's how you can tell the difference. Hey, so let's do bros, RBLX, and toast. So let me just look at this first and see if there's something I even want to go through. Yeah, I mean, just very quickly, look, there's your level. I can save us a lot of time on this one. I mean, that's pretty clear where your level is, and you're already rejecting it. So let's get to this. RBLX, I think, is going to have issues. Okay. I know it's trying to turn. I'm not saying that it can't come back, but I would think that it would have issues. Kids are back in school. Parents are sick of paying $50 so the kid can play a game. There's a lot of issues there financially that they're going to have to deal with. And it's had a huge run. And frankly, I do like that you've undercut this double bottom here, right? But you didn't undercut this one. So I don't know that this is over. I'd be careful. I'd be really careful here with that name. That name doesn't really do it for me. Now, Bros is one that I've been looking at and I like. And my hope is that, this can continue. But let's see. I got to get over 52. 52 has been the issue, right? We tried yesterday. We couldn't do it. So now, Bros, you're looking at 52.10. Okay? That's what you're looking at now. 52.10. That's your level, right? Because you want to get above this wick. And it looks like you might do it this morning. If that happens, this can absolutely go higher. There's no question about it. So this can absolutely continue to move. So just keep that in mind. I like the name and it can move. Let's just keep going here. Oh, thanks. That's nice. And I got a little heart and everything. That's a nice way to start my day. Good morning, Deb. The new entry for, I'm not, look, I bought a firm yesterday for a trade. I got stopped out of it. It's going to happen. Am I out here trying to buy a firm right now? Look, this is a classic breakout. Let me get rid of one of these lines. Remove this horizontal line. Look, and let's get rid of this. Okay. Let's just throw this down here. So, yeah, I mean, look at the cup. It's huge, right? There's very little to say against it. I mean, here's your bull flag, right? Even though these are gaps, here's your bull flag. The bull flag's still there. Here's your breakout of the bull flag. And now you're going. I mean, there's very little to say here that's bad. When we didn't break this down, when I thought we might break this and it could possibly even be a short, it did not happen. We actually came down, undercut, rallied, and went. So yeah, I mean, this again can move. It's just a question of where you are on the chart, and where you are on the indexes. That's my biggest concern. My biggest concern is not how these stocks look. They look great, but can they go up if the Qs don't break 364? Can they go up if the SPY doesn't break 440? Right? I don't know. IWM sitting right at these levels. They're all sitting right at key levels, and they're not getting through yet. So I need to see that push, and that's my concern with buying things that are breaking out right here. That should be your concern as well. Yeah, I don't know that I would have closed it yesterday. I mean, in the trading room yesterday, we were adding into the close into names. Just FYI. I mean, this to me, this was pretty easy to telegraph when we got to 360, but on the Qs. But we were buyers at the end of the day. I wouldn't have been selling, but and just the usual suspects. But I don't know that you chase it. I think you're doing a little FOMO right now. FOMO hasn't really worked very well in this market. You can see that you have this huge cup here. Maybe you wait for the handle to form and then buy it. I'm not in a huge hurry here to tell you that you got to jump in. If it pulls back or you see setups on other positions, get involved. Other than that, I mean, you can see so far, even as we're talking, things are not going higher, which is not bad. I mean, they're higher, but they're not like, rocking and rolling. We're not breaking through levels. We're hitting resistance points and we're stopping. So you need to pay attention to that. So just keep that in mind. IBM 140 calls, 11 to 19. Would I do that? Probably not, because I don't think there'd be enough money in it. So would I do that? No. I mean, and then I would go and take a look. I mean, okay, this is what happened last time on earnings. Okay. So you have to think about, I mean, look, Samira, this is a really simple way to do it. Okay. You look at the option pricing. Okay. This time we are up 4.6%, right? And for those that ask, I use TrendSpider. You can use any platform, but I always get asked about it. And they give you a free trial. There's a link in the description. So let's just average those last two together, right? We can even take the third when we had the meltdown, right? Let's just average them together real quick and just see what's going on over the past year. Okay, 4, 6, 10, right? Average them together. 4 and 6 is 10, 20 divided by 3, right? You understand you see where I'm going with this? So you can kind of see where you're at on a percentage basis on where this next move should be, right? Just by adding them together and then dividing by 3, it gives you an understanding that, you're at like a 7. Let's just call it 7 just to make the math simple, right? So do I really think that I want to be in this for 7% or 3 points? Probably not. I'd put my money in other spots, especially option money. I'd do it in other areas. It's probably not something I would do. Sure, CCJ is in uranium, and you've seen these uranium names and what they've been doing, right? So maybe it breaks, maybe it goes. Let me get rid of these data points, and let me get rid of this pre-market for a minute. That was my level yesterday, and then I got through it, right? We were looking at that earlier in the day. So maybe it goes. I don't know. I would watch it. Look, this is the thing that would get me. That's one big trade, right? As I pointed out the other day, this is one big trade. Uranium's one big trade. I would be finding the shortest float one to own or the one with the most diversification, depending upon my trading style. So that's it. It's one big trade. If uranium prices go up, it's going to go up. So for me, I always look at liquidity. I want liquidity. So, which means I want volume. So this has been the one that I've been utilizing when I do it, when I put a trade on. And frankly, I didn't do anything on this last move up. I did some stuff on this, but I didn't. But I would be concerned if I was in these uranium names as bonk, 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 bonk. I mean, it's like being hit in the head with a frying pan and pretending it's not happening, right? You have an issue, right? We all know what happens to issues if you don't address them immediately. So, hey, Dan. NRGU, looking to enter snow at 330. I like snow a lot. I just am concerned about where the index position is. Yeah, snow, I really like a lot. Let's look at NRGU. So big oil. Yeah, I'd be careful buying oil names here. I'd be really careful at it. You had an enormous move here off of this base, and I would just be cautious. And these wicks would give me caution too. Here's uncertainty. Here's a hammer, kind of like an inverted hammer. We're kind of gapping up. I'd be a little concerned if tech runs, right? If let's say tech breaks out, if tech breaks out, energy and financials will get hammered. If tech does not run, then maybe you should look at oil names today. And that's how I would play it. So in other words, they're going to be inversely correlated right now. And as we're talking, you can look at over here on the indexes, and we're not able to break that level. We're not able to break the Qs, right? We're not able to break on the SPYs yet. Doesn't mean you don't do it later. So, you know, I would be somewhat concerned here that we're not breaking those levels. So NRGU, so maybe if oil reverses, this reverses with it. Snow, I like a lot because that sector's on fire. That whole anything software related is just on fire. We don't even have to get into the different groupings of them. They're on fire, and there's a reason for it, and we don't have to get too into it now. But there's a very strong reason for it, and I think it continues to the end of the year. And I actually think it gets smaller and smaller into the end of the year. But I like those names. I like anything in that space. So just FYI, everyone, just look at this, okay? Here's cloud. Here's the trend line. And I just want to point this out to everybody. So, and just keep an eye on this. Okay. I preach relative strength in the trading room all the time and on Twitter. Let's get rid of all these lines. Okay. So what index is above the 200-day, the S&P or the Qs? Neither. What sector is above the 50-day right now? Right. So you start looking at it like that. Okay. Which one's above the 50-day? This is, are the SPY, are the Qs above the 50-day? No. Okay. When you start seeing stuff like that, okay, you need to pay attention to it. Okay. Because it's telling you something. So pay attention to the software space. Now, that said, Wish, I wouldn't go near this. This was just another, look, Dan, these names can work and you can pull money out of them, but these are just like pumps and dumps. Somebody buys a huge position in it, they run it up, and then it's like, it's like musical chairs. This move on this name is no different than what happened with like DATS yesterday. Some people made money, some people didn't. It all depends. It's all like musical chairs, right? They're no different. So some of us made money on it. It's like the CEI. It's going to 10. Right. And then meanwhile, the people that are pumping it are selling it to you and pretending that they're your friend. It's kind of slimy, frankly. So I wouldn't go near Wish. Mara needs a rest. I think the Bitcoin names are just not moving with Bitcoin, right? I mean, isn't that what we've been saying? So you're having trouble with this level right here, right? You keep rejecting it, even though you're forming a flag. But yeah, I mean, look, there's your level. I mean, you tried. You had a great reversal yesterday. This is usually a pretty powerful pattern. When you have an update like this and then you have a reversal and then you encapsulate all that, that's a bullish engulfing at the top of this. Chances are it goes. I mean, that's telling you that it probably pushes, right? Like that pattern, when you see this pattern, pay attention to it. But that's telling you that you might push here. It's very possible that you could push. And what you'd look for is you'd look for that over $45. And maybe it takes, Bitcoin to get moving to do that. TSM trying to push the 50-day CAR as a short. I would not be shorting CAR. I'd be really careful on that. Could it work? Absolutely, it could work. You went right to the top of that level we've been talking about, right? And look how you've rejected it. Yeah, I mean, you can But here's how you do it. You have to do it here. And then you have to wait for the chart to set up. And if while you're waiting for the chart to set up, you essentially have to have this amount of risk. So I may let the chart set up and then see if I can find a spot in the chart after the first half hour of trading. If I really wanted to put that on, I'd be really careful there. I'd be really careful. Where's the 8-day? I mean, I don't see you going past this. I really don't. And maybe you do. Eventually you will, right? But it's not something that I would do. You know, you're trying to pick up pennies in front of steamrollers. So I could be wrong, but that's my thought on it, Terry. Taiwan semi, this is where you start getting out. I mean, that's the move, right? We talked about this over and over again, right? When do you buy Taiwan semi? When nobody wants it, right? I mean, it's so obvious. Like it's so when you start understanding how to draw support and resistance levels, this becomes so much easier, right? Look, bonk, bonk. If you bought it every single time, okay, it's a manufacturing company. When it hits a certain valuation, you get buyers, right? It's not this huge growth company. So, and now you're buying a value stock, and it's a great one. Don't get me wrong, but you know, you have to get over this. If I get up to this and I was in here and that was a trade, I wouldn't even wait. I'd just be gone. There's a lot. Look, there's a lot of uncertainty there. There's a lot of uncertainty, and you have issue with you know, what's going on with China and you know, the threat from their threat. I mean, I don't know how that plays out. I would decimate the stock, but yeah, I mean, look, you got to get through the 50-day and stay above the 50-day, and it respects it. So you really have to watch this. See how it respects it? So just keep that in mind, and that's what you want to see. You want to see this goes higher, and that's really what you're looking for. So let's just keep going here. All right, let's just keep going. Mara, GME, let's just go here. GME is going to open above the wedge line. Hey, Percy. So GME, I would watch. You know, I just think they're just going to keep walking you down. Maybe if you get above the 50-day again, it goes. You could possibly get back up to this level. I mean, that's possible. Yeah, but see, when you break a wedge line like this with a curl, it's not exactly a really ringing endorsement, is it? I mean, it's not like you're seeing tons of action in it. So, you know, just watch. I'd watch it. I wouldn't be in a big hurry here. Out of these names, frankly, I like this one more because I'm respecting this breakout level so cleanly. But GME could have turned, sure, but it's not on my radar. I think there's much better names. AMBA. I mean, you have work to do, right? But you're respecting that level. You really are respecting that level. Let's put that in, take a look at it so we can understand it. Okay. So there's your level, right? So this is kind of interesting, isn't it? Hold on one second. I like that. I mean, but you got to get through that level. Let's see if this moved the stock. It's looking at one of my other screens. So I don't know if this is going to move it or not. They just got an announcement that they're doing a joint venture. Let's take a look and see if it's doing anything to it. Yeah, it's not really responding well to that. Okay. You would think that it would. That needs time. AMBA needs time. Hey, Cobra, plug Apple. So FYI, plug. It's funny. I'm on it right now. I like it. Okay. It was actually one that we talked about yesterday in the room, but I don't know that you chase it here, right? Look where you're at. I mean, do you really want to be the first one in? Probably not. Right. So I would watch that. Apple, I mean, just caveat, I have a very large position in Apple. I started it yesterday. Position size for me, is large. Let me rephrase that. It depends, I guess, on, but on a percentage basis, it's large because I think that you're at a point where you actually could bounce here and start getting back up to these levels. So it gives me a shot to stay up and in. And I think we're already up close to $2 in it. So I'm happy with it. I would be all over Apple if it got under 140 again or near 140. I would be all over it with how it acted yesterday. Maybe it doesn't work, but I'll take the 2-point risk on it because, again, you have to look at your constant levels. Resistance, 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 flips it, support, resistance, resistance. There's some buyer at 138. Whoever it is. But that leads me to believe, and there's some big money in Apple. So, I think I can get back up to the 147. I actually think before the end of December, we're back up here at highs. So I like that trade a lot. And I think it's very little risk to be in that now. And you already know what the earnings are going to be. I mean, they already came out and told you. Well, there's no risk. Morning, buddy. Facebook. So I know a lot of people are bottom fishing this one, right? They don't know. Is she a plant? Is she not a plant? Is she, I mean, it's like, it's so insanity, like how much like fake news that we get that we don't even know what to believe, right? But look, here's the thing. Let's just look at it technically and talk, okay? You touched the 200-day and you bounced, okay? That's your first test. Do I think that this is over going down? I personally do not. This is not a pattern that I'm going to buy, okay? I would not even consider buying this until I got above a higher high, like getting above this 336.78 level. Like it's not even on my radar to buy it until it does that. And I know people don't want to hear that I want to wait $10, but there's a reason. So I would argue that you could buy it if you were willing to sell it if it closes below the 200-day. And I think you need to wait for the close below the 200-day. And then you can go and battle it and buy it in and out over the 200-day moving average. No different than you would have done here. Breaks below the 200-day, closes back over it, you buy it. You make money, or you stayed in it and then it closed below the 200-day and you got out and then you bought it again when it went back over it. And eventually the trade will work if it's meant to work, just like it did here. I closed over it, and then from here, look at your move, right before I broke it again. So there's a long-term way to trade these things when they get to 200 days, right? So you could argue that was the move, and it looks like you had people step up here and actually defend it, right, at that level. So I think that's important. I mean, it can work. Hey, Ken, good morning. Ruth, what I'm getting at is I don't know that I would be buying a breakout. This was my point. To answer your question, you're right. I didn't give you an exact level. I don't know that I'm buying a breakout with the Qs sitting right at a resistance point and unable to break it off data that came out that was fairly decent. I'm not sure we're going to see enough momentum today with where the SPY is, right? That's kind of where I was getting at. So you're welcome to take a shot at it. For me, I need to see an open, and then I need to see positions. I need to see a lot of things before I say, here's the price on that. That's not a clear way to look at it. It's not clear to me. Ro. Morning, Ro. Calls and Melly. I would stay away from those names because as the economy opens, look, the economies are going to open. We're starting to see signs of that left and right? Could this work? Absolutely. The way to play this, if you're looking to buy this, is to use this. Start learning how to use RSI. I can give you another indicator too. But you see how this RSI broke under and now it's popping back over? Okay, that's a clear shot that, yes, you could start looking at buying calls here, right? Just based upon that move alone, breaking under and then popping back over that line. That alone is a signal, right? Just like it was here. See that move here? Doesn't mean that it's going to work, right? You might have gotten stopped out here, right? Or you may have sold some and then got stopped out. It just didn't work. That's okay. But it's still a signal. And you should be able to get up and in. I don't see any reason why this isn't going to get back up to here to test it. I'm not so sure that you're going to run there. Now, on CHOP, yeah, you see how, right, you came down and then you reversed. So this one to me looks a lot cleaner, right? See how you're above the 200-day? See how you're above this wedge line this morning? Right now you get to the 50-day, then you get to this wedge line. So you can start seeing how that one could work. So if I had to pick between the two, I think I just made my case for shop. So, I'm behind. So, all right, let me jump through some of these. Oh, I'm really behind. Okay, here I am. All right. So did I cover crowd? No, I didn't. I like crowd a lot. I think crowd has the potential to go. I just don't like the position of the index. So that's what's got me somewhat concerned. I just don't like the position of the index that we're in. So I would be somewhat concerned there. Give me a minute to get more coffee, and then I'll run through here, and I'll stay for another 6 minutes. So we'll run through these. So let's just continue to look here. Let me run through these. And I'm going to fast forward through to the end of this and just start seeing where I'm at and then go from there. Let's just go here. CCIX. Hey, Swing. I'm just going to start at the end of this and start running through these pretty fast just so everyone gets them answered. Look, I don't think this is done, but the trade was right here, right? Now, if you want to be super aggressive, the move is to buy above here, right? That's your move, Swing. You buy above here. If it breaks above here, see how you're not doing that this morning? You stopped right there. And then you have to use this as your stop, right? You have to use that 34.65 because if you break this, you could go a lot lower, right? You know, there's levels to this stuff, right? And you just have to understand that. So if you break the low on that flag and you're supposed to break out here, no. So just be careful. I want this break. I want the big move. I don't want the little move. But I understand why people would buy this. Let's see. Let's just see. GDXJ. Gold miners, I mean, maybe they can go. Maybe, but where are you getting to? Here? Yeah, I mean, maybe 4 points. It's very possible. I mean, here's your trend. Look, here's your trend line, right? And you've broken through it. So it's very possible you can get to the 200-day there. Yeah. Asan. So, I mean, I threw these in just so you could see them. We looked at them before. We were in this. We got stopped out. We made like $45 a share on it. We had a really nice trade on it. Look, right to the fib, rejection, close to the fib. And think of fib levels as areas, not be-all, end-alls. But what you're looking for is you got to get through this. I mean, you're in no man's land in the middle here. So it doesn't really interest me right here. I know people are in it and you know, they bought it at 112. It looks like it's going to rip, and it's in the right space. But, you know, let's see these indexes break out. Let's see them do something, not just assume that they're going to do something. And let's just keep going. So skills I would not go near. FTK I'll take a look at real quick. Skills I just wouldn't go near it. I mean, I know people are like, oh, look, this one's going to bounce. I mean, you know, picking up pennies in front of steamrollers. To me, that's what you're doing. Like this. I mean, I wouldn't go near this at all, Dan. I would focus on companies that are just like absolutely crushing it and dominating right now because that's where the money's going to go. They very well could. You could see a rotation into that. Very well. You very well could. DT and click. So, Laura, I saw your question about what's my target on Tesla, or where's my stop on Tesla. I have no interest in getting out of my Tesla position. I actually added to it yesterday. So 75 is what I'm looking for here. So let's just take a look at it. In regards to the 75, you broke out, boom, you're going to go. Click. That looks good. It's clean. I wouldn't go near. Maybe this works just off the RSI. There's a little trade here that you can do if you understand RSI, and then kind of go from there. If you don't, subscribe to this channel and click notifications, and please like this video. I ask for very little, but like the video. I'm trying to get in front of as many people so they can stop listening to the wrong kind of people and start understanding that you need a process. It's having a heck of a time, Jerm. Heck of a time. And it's taken me with it. Every time, every single time, it's taken me with it. And we're just in Wick City. I mean, there's my line. And what I don't like is as I'm going up, this is dropping. That's not what you want to see. This is actually setting up to come in. So it's not something that I'm crazy about here, buddy. NIO. I got a minute here, so if you want to throw out a symbol, if I missed it, let me know. Look, I get it. I mean, the more I understand the company, I understand why people like the company, right? So the more I understand it, the more I like the company. But I don't know because I'm actually afraid of their accounting, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I am I'm really afraid of their accounting, but. Yeah, I mean, watch this 50-day, watch this 200-day. See how much easier it is sometimes when you look at the major lines. Sometimes it's good to take some of the lines off your screen and look at them a different way. XLE, I would watch the XLE. It rejected. So I would really watch the XLE. It really, really rejected. Maybe it goes, but now I've got this evening star wick. So I'm sitting on the sidelines. Still tells me what it's going to do. Billy, yeah, absolutely. So Billy, I wouldn't go near because of that. I would just watch that level and go from there. So, all right. So let me just see if I have anything else to wrap around there. Yeah, please hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds, and it's all I really want is people to like and share this so that we can get in front of more people. The more people we get in this room, the better ideas are going to start developing. The faster people are going to learn, right? It's the repetition of this that drives your skill set. So that's it. Everybody have a great day. Thank you very much. If you need me, as always, you can email me here. All right. Have a great day, everyone.